everybody, I just wanted to let you know that this episode of Tabletop Babble is brought to you by Kobold Press and the Kobold Complete Game Design Guide, second edition. It is the ultimate resource for game masters, gamers, and designers. The Emmy Award-winning first edition of the Complete Kobold Guide to Game Design laid out concepts, techniques, and advice for designing role-playing games and enhancing adventures. Now, the second edition is even better. It brings together the essays from the original volume, updates many of them to reflect the changing game design landscape, and adds new essays by veteran designers Jeff Grubb, Kelly Pollock, Amber Scott, and Ray Valise. So, if you want to get practical, thought-provoking essays on world building, creating magic systems, conflict, and compelling stories, where else are you going to go but koboldpress.com to get the Complete Kobold Guide to Game Design second edition? Tell them DSPN sent you. This is Tabletop Babble. I'm James Introcaso. Ho, people, today I have got a great show for you. I am talking with the creators of Multiverse. Yes, that's right, Multiverse. You may have seen some advertisements, some videos of this going around online. It's part virtual table, part experience that you can build and create things for, and all role-playing game. You're going to want to check it out. Jessica is part of this interview, as well as Megan. They are the story and art architects, or at least part of the team that is creating Multiverse, both story from Jessica and art from Megan. So here is my interview with them. It is going to blow your mind. Okay, everybody, I am super excited to have this chat. Jess and Megan, welcome to Tabletop Babble. For people who don't know, who are you and what do you do in the world of tabletop role-playing games? Jess, let's start with you.
I'm Jess, Jessica Ross, and I do lots of stuff in the world of tabletop. I'm a writer and editor. I have a couple of titles up on DM's Guild and Drive-Thru RPG. I play D&D with the D20 Dames, an all-women, family-friendly D&D actual play podcast. And I'm the narrative designer / campaign writer for Multiverse.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you do so much, and it's super exciting to have you here. I I want to talk about all of the things you do. And Megan, who are you and what do you do in the world of tabletop role-playing games?
I am Megan McCurdy, and I am a game artist. I have not been in the tabletop realm for too long. For 2 years I've been playing. I'm an avid player, but now I am deep diving into it with Multiverse. I'm the lead artist on that project, as well as doing UI design.
I am really, really excited to chat with you all about this because what is Multiverse? So I saw the video when it came out, and it looked like this is an RPG. Someone is, using a tablet. You can dive right in. There's a marketplace involved. The characters look amazing. This art style is incredible. So what is it? What exactly is Multiverse for people who don't know?
So Multiverse is a video game platform reinventing how RPGs and tabletop games are played. And on top of that, we have a marketplace for creators to sell content.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I can use Multiverse to create an RPG, but also to play it at the table.
Right. Yeah.
So how did this all come to be?
It started with part of the group, a group of nerdy friends got together and like a lot of people struggle to keep up with like the mechanics and all of the just like everything that goes into learning a new tabletop game. And some of the like ready-made fantasy settings felt a little bit stale. And while attempting to homebrew a game, they ended up deciding to build their own app to do that. And then sort of stumbled into this combination where they were able to create the interactability of video games plus like the freedom of a tabletop role-playing game. And it became this like magical thing.
Yeah, I mean, it truly does look very amazing. So one of the things that I'm super intrigued by is like there's this sort of jump right in aspect. How does that work? How are you able to just jump right into Multiverse?
So there's two different sides of it. So you're either a storyteller or you're a player. And jumping right into it looks different for both of those things. If you're a storyteller, it's a bit more, but you jump into it by, first selecting your verse. Right now, we only have this fantasy setting that we're building, but we hope to have more verses, maybe like sci-fi or something like that, maybe even add an IP to our game. But that's for the future. Right now, we're in this fantasy setting, and so you choose the fantasy setting, and then you're brought into, your story building tools, and There's going to be lots of pre-made things for you, or you can build your own, and it's all kind of modular, and you can kind of click and drag, or kind of build things on the fly, or you can just kind of jump right into things if you just kind of want to get started. If you're a player, on the other hand, you will join the campaign through a code, or we haven't exactly figured out all the details yet, but you'll jump into a campaign, you'll create your character, and basically start right from there.
So does this use does it have a core system? You know what I mean? Like is it running on a specific tabletop kind of engine, like Fate or the D20 system or the Cipher system, or is it all original built from the ground up?
It's a lot of pieces of it are sort of based on other systems because everyone who's working on it has some familiarity with various systems. But it is something that we're basically creating out of like what we like best from other systems and what makes the most sense, I think, for like this version of it.
Right. And it is something web based. So it is something you can just load up on your browser.
Oh, cool. That's really awesome. So you don't need any sort of app to dive in. You just need to be able to access the internet.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are big it sounds like there are some sort of very big designs for growing the system, which is also very, very cool. So if I am a creator and want to make some cool stuff happen in Multiverse, what can I play around with? Can I get in there and add rules and that kind of thing? Can I make adventures? How does it work?
Well, we're definitely wanting to keep things open for that. We want the storytellers to be able to kind of add things in or have a say in how this game is played. We're hoping to have it so you can add mechanics. I think that's going to be because mechanics are a very like core gameplay thing. So I think it's going to be a lot of testing around to see how that works as far as adding it in. Is it something that it can be like modular? Can we add in mechanics like that? Or is it going to ruin the balance of the whole game? So that is a very fine balance when it comes to like adding mechanics. But as far as the rest of the customization goes, we're building it so it can be expanded upon. So like in another verse, it might have different mechanics, a sci-fi setting, it might not have the same mechanics as like a fantasy setting, but we're still playing around with those ideas and how best that would work.
So, Jess, as the narrative designer, what is sort of your role when it comes to Multiverse?
I do a couple of different things. So I work with Kat Kruger, who's the story architect, and we work together to basically create the campaigns that will be playable for people when they actually start playing Multiverse. I also do various other like writing aspects for like as things come up that need to be written. I try to take on as much as I can. So I'm working on uh, basically rebuilding an alignment system. Like we are looking at different ways to approach alignment than sort of the more like traditional, like something very different from like the D&D, lawful, neutral, chaotic. So I'm working on just rebuilding an entire alignment system. I'm working on some of the like character class concepts, stuff like that. So I'm trying to I sort of do a little bit of everything where writing is involved.
So that's very cool. So it will have some things preloaded, ready to play at launch. You don't need to build it all yourself.
Right, exactly. And there will also be aspects of it that even with the stuff that I'm working on writing, there are ways to like customize how much of that actually goes into how you play it.
Okay, so that's really cool too. Then you're working with the game aspect of it, the role playing aspect of it. That like this all comes together, and then you can have tools to use the table as well.
Roleplay is very fluid, and it's something that you really want to do on the fly. And it's something we want to make, like if you're adding a encounter or adding something or want to add a new story element into your campaign, it's something that can be done quickly and easily. That's what we're trying to build, trying to have like ease of use and ease of play.
Cool. And is it easy to take something that's pre-existing, like these the modules that will come with Multiverse, and get in there and add something or customize something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we want. We want people to make it their own, and we want people to build on it and, explore how to use things and how to build things. That's going to be like the coolest thing ever. It's going to be seeing how people actually use those tools and change them and change the stories, and it's going to be super cool. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You can't see me over here, but I double fist bumped like into the air when you said that. So yeah, it is. That's just amazing and powerful. And the video that y'all put out makes it look very simple. And I was on your website, and I see that you have these great developer blogs. There's one blog post up already about sort of character art. And Megan, I'm wondering if you can talk about that, because I certainly see some sort of typical fantasy ancestries, like dwarves and orcs and things like that. But it also looks like we got some like panda people, and there's like a whole bunch of different things you can be, and all different body types.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, with the character customizer, we really wanted to make it big, and it's like a time cost thing. Like we wanted people to be able to be whoever they want. And we're still working on the type of people they can be. We're starting to use the terminology kind instead of race, because we're wanting to choose not to use that in our game, because we don't need our biases in our fiction, if that makes sense. And
100% with you on that.
So
yes.
we're still developing the different kinds in our world, but we want to have variation. We want to have something fun, something different that like goes outside of the realm of like fantasy that we've been kind of fed for a while. And as far as body types go, we want people to feel represented. And that's like goes along with the customization, like the level of customization. We want people to feel represented. We want people to feel like connected to their characters. I know like for me, I feel so much more connected to a character once I've drawn them or like have a depiction of who they are. And I want that for other people as well. Like I want people to feel connected to the players, like the characters that they're playing, and having artwork really, really helps with that. And so having that deep level of customization, even if it's just pixel art, really adds like a feeling of connection that like at least I get a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think art and RPGs are huge together in that aspect. So how does it work? Is it is the story informing the art? Is the art informing the story? Is it a little bit of both?
Definitely a little bit of both, because there have definitely been like Megan would show me like something really incredible that she worked on that really just sparked some ideas for me. Like in the video that is out, the elemental that Megan did just like the most incredible job making that. Part of the reason I was able to come up with the lore for that is because she and I kind of like talked about what it would look like and what kind of like what its purpose was in the world. And we were able to use some of that like conversation that we had back and forth, and she came up with this really incredible depiction of this elemental spirit, and I came up with the lore from it. So definitely I feel like there's a back and forth on some of that.
Yeah, it's been really fun, like kind of building up like new lore, and we're trying to really pull from realms outside of like the Norse mythology or different mythologies. We want kind of like we're trying to do more like Middle Eastern, Asian, African, pull in different inspirations from there and kind of build off of that. So you're going to see a lot of that to come.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that this episode of Tabletop Babble is brought to you by Elderwood Academy. Elderwood Academy are the makers of fine, handcrafted wood gaming products. They are so beautiful. I have two. Count them, two of their amazing spell books. Plus, there's dice towers, there are dice trays. They're all made to look like fantasy items that you would pick up, like spell books or codices or scrolls, and then they unfurl into beautiful handcrafted gaming products that will be the coolest thing at your table. A lot of it is customizable. You can get the art you want. You can get it to fit the gaming products that you already use. I'm talking about cards, dice, minis, pencils, you name it. They have it. Go check it out at elderwoodacademy.com/don't split. That's elderwoodacademy.com/don't split. Let's get back to the babble. It sounds like y'all are really determined to make something new as well, and to provide a lot of options. Talk about that a little bit. Like, what is it like, seeking novelty and inspiration in places that maybe we don't typically see, like your white guy European fantasy go? How has that been? And uncovering stuff, working it into your stories, and creating something, wholly new. I look at a lot of this and I think like, wow, I've never seen all of these things together before.
In terms of the lore, I am really enjoying doing this research into basically like non-European cultures to try to find just like inspiration for the stories that Kat and I are building together. And Kat's an amazing researcher in this too. And we've been able to find just some really great stories, really great mythologies that don't get the attention that like European mythologies do. And this is so it's also just been really amazing to be able to do this research and like write these stories and to feel a stronger connection with these stories that Kat and I are writing than I do with stories and like other tabletop games that I've played, because it's something other than just like the Western European thing that we're used to. And it's been really cool to be able to see the connection between like stories that my grandma told me when I was a kid and like things that we're researching from like South Africa and things like that.
It's really cool to hear that like all of this is coming together to create a new gameplay experience. I love that.
Yeah, and we all kind of like feel each other. Like even just hearing her talk about it, I'm like, and it feels so great to just take that and put it into art. Like as cheesy as that sounds, it's like I feel like we all really it's kind of creepy how well we all work together. Like even though we're so far apart, we're all like on the same like wavelength. Like we are all like about adding diversity and representation and like just having a fun with it, like having fun and inspiring each other. It's just, man, I love this team.
Absolutely.
That's really, really excellent, especially because so Multiverse, like I am excited to get on there and create things and play with my friends. And again, as a creator, it's exciting to, make stuff and have a marketplace that will be readily available and get it out there to sell to people as well. What kinds of things are you expecting people to be able to make and put on the marketplace?
I think everything, right?
Yeah, really everything. Like we keep on finding new things that people can like package together to be marketable. So it's like writers will be able to have like maybe like a collection of like modules, like different story points or like Maybe there's level designers that have packages of level designs that they want to sell. Or maybe it's some new, like maybe it's completely new content, like new character items or clothing, things like that. Honestly, like almost everything can be made and packaged and sold on the marketplace. And it's just kind of like, I'm really excited for that because we really do want to make it someplace like where people, artists, creators of all kinds can really make a living. Like we really want to try and set a standard there.
Oh, that is super intriguing. So when you say make a living, what do you mean?
I mean, if people like wanted to focus on just making content for the game and selling it there, like we want people to be paid what they should be paid for that.
Yes. Yes. That sounds incredible. I really like to hear that. And it sounds like not only are there opportunities for people in the tabletop world, but there are also opportunities for exhausted and overworked people in the video game world as well.
Absolutely. I find that like being someone from the game industry, I was a part of like the indie game industry, which is very friendly, but finding a place between video games and role playing, like those like tabletop role playing and video games, like the space in between that is actually very pleasant. It's like a very pleasant place to be in. And I want more people to be here. I want the community to grow. And I think that's what we're working towards.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Like we're working towards something, where everybody can be accepted and play these amazing games. And it sounds like Multiverse is going to provide that. So I want to dive in a little bit, just a little, whatever you can tell me right now about Multiverse's sort of system. Is it something we would be familiar with as tabletop players? Are dice involved? Is there a strength, dexterity, constitution kind of thing going on? Is it skill based? What does it look like?
It's definitely very similar because it is designed based on, I mean, from people who've played lots of tabletop RPGs and based on things like D&D and similar tabletop RPGs, there are some very similar aspects to it. So there are like the main skills that every character has. There is dice rolling in it, but it is all online. So you like click and it shows the dice roll for you. There are like different skill sets and things like that. So it would definitely be very familiar. Like I came onto this project relatively recently. And when I was sort of interviewing for the narrative designer position, Thark showed me what they had so far of a very, very early like playthrough of what they had. And it was immediately very, very familiar to me because it's based so heavily on like tabletop RPGs. As soon as he started the playthrough, I sort of immediately was like, yes, this makes sense. This is the skill test that you were doing in order to achieve this result. I get it. So it's definitely, I feel like it's, if you have any familiarity with tabletop RPGs, it's very similar, except that it's much easier to get into.
You don't have to do any math.
Yeah. Exactly.
You don't have to do any math.
Oh, sure, because
everything's automated.
Can you play it from a distance and at a table? Like how does that work? Can you could I play with my friend in California but also with my wife here at home?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can play on your phone or your PC. And so you can have like in a tabletop setting, everyone has their phones or tablets, and you can play that way, or you can have it, everyone's online on their PCs and their phones. It can be a mix of all of that, really. Whatever works best for everyone.
I love that so much. So I would love to press y'all for some more details, but I don't know at this point what can and can't be said. And is there anything we know as far as like a release date or anything like that goes?
I don't think so. Nothing concrete that we can say, but we are working on some ideas for like demos or soft launches. We're working on ideas for that, but nothing concrete. Still workshopping.
Is this the kind of thing that one might be able to play by themselves?
That's an idea that we're still working on. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah. We're definitely still talking about it because there are like solo adventures on like DM's Guild that you can play through, which I really like solo adventures. I have a lot of fun with those. But there is sort of this fine line between this being like basically like a tabletop RPG experience as a video game and being just like a straight up video game. And that's something that we're still, I think, trying to figure out.
Sure. So, what would you say makes this different from your typical tabletop experience, other than obviously the math being done for you, which is great? It's number one for me. What do you think makes Multiverse like a unique experience?
I think we can both answer this, but I can go first. I think the visualization really stands out to me because it's very cohesive and it can really immerse someone who doesn't have like that creative mind, can't make those pictures in their head. It gives them a starting point, like a really solid starting point so that they can kind of get into character more and explore those stories more. And it also allows for more creative storytelling and just more open doors. And that's kind of like what we're excited to see is how far people take it with those tools.
I definitely think that's a big part of it. Another thing that I really focus on is the sort of like writing and story aspect of it, and specifically the fact that, like Megan mentioned earlier, that we're trying to stay away from like words like race and leaning more toward like elf kind and like orc kind. The fact that we're even having conversations like this during the like building process, I think says a lot about what's going to end up in the final product and how that is going to make it vastly different from so many other like tabletop RPG experiences in terms of like I do a lot of DMing and I just play a ton of like different tabletop RPGs. And one thing that comes up a lot is that when I like sit down to DM a game, in sort of my intro spiel of like, you know, this is me, this is who I am. Here are our safety tools. And by the way, like I don't play fantasy racism. So like if you're, if you come across a drow, you don't get to be racist. Or like if you're, this color dragonborn, you don't get to be racist toward like another color dragonborn. We don't do that at my table. And it's something that like, I like that that's not, that like racism isn't going to be built into our game, that like there are aspects of that where like we are very concerned with like representation and diversity and like making sure that everyone does feel safe and represented. And that's a huge difference to me from past tabletop experiences. The fact that we're even thinking so much about that like right now at this stage in the process of like just getting the story written, like thinking about how we're designing campaigns and things like that. And that's very important to me.
Yes, I mean that sounds great, and it's refreshing to see things being thought of that way, especially when you see a lot of people these days asking for those kinds of changes or making the kind of changes themselves. It's very different and progressive and forward thinking when that's an actual part of the game, right? When that's an actual rule in the game. And I love to hear that. That's just a really, really great thing. So we're getting towards the end of our time here, but I do want to ask you both what you love about working on Multiverse.
Oh, it's hard to answer that because like everything.
I know. He asked that question and I just got like
Yeah,
the biggest smile on my face because this is like, I love everything about it. It's like my team is just fantastic and like everyone's is such like a diverse and like wholesome group. and I feel very lucky to be working with the people that I'm working with. And I feel really lucky to be a part of building a platform that really like represents me and represents others. As like as being like an artist as well, like being a content creator. Like it not only covers like the basis of like making me feel represented as a person, but also as an artist and what I do. And I think that's so cool that we can try and like push that and like have this be a safe space and have it be a space where you can make money and like have all those things combined together is like pretty cool. And I'm really excited to test it out and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I definitely love every part of working on this team, of the story that we're building, of the game that we're building. It's so difficult to choose just one like aspect that I love, but definitely I think like Megan, probably it's like the team that's what makes every part of it so good. Is it like we are all on the same page about so much of what we want, of how important it is that we are like representing people, we are representing ourselves, we are making this like a very fun and incredible game, and making sure that we are being inclusive and welcoming. I definitely love every part of working with Multiverse.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing experience, and I definitely am very grateful that I get to be involved in this.
Yeah, we're going full cheese right now.
I know.
We don't even care.
Good.
We don't even care.
That's what we're about here at Tabletop Babble. So, full cheese is a great thing, and I am smiling ear to ear, hearing y'all say this. It sounds like you're building an incredible thing that is going to be an incredible opportunity for a lot of people. So, thank you so much for that. First, if people want to know more about Multiverse, where should they go and what should they do?
They can go to our website, playmultiverse.com, or if they have questions on Twitter, we are at play_multiverse. And I think that right now that like tweeting at play_multiverse is the best way to like ask questions or anything like that. But general info can also be found on our website.
Excellent. And where can people find you, Jess, if they want to find you on the internet to send you praise?
I am mostly on Twitter. I have other social media accounts, but Twitter is my main one, and that's at WriteJessR, WriteJessR. And you can find all of my various projects and things that I do and my other social media accounts on my website, writejess.com.
Excellent. And where can people find you, Megan?
I am also mostly on Twitter. So you can find me at McCurdy, MEGCURDY. And I'm on there all the time. So just tweet me and I'll say hello.
Excellent. Well, it is awesome to have both of you here today. Thank you so much for coming on to Tabletop Babble.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, that was a great interview. I cannot wait to find out more about Multiverse. You know, people, Tabletop Babble could use your help. If you're already contributing to our Patreon, thank you so much. If not, head on over to patreon.com/Introcaso. It's patreon.com/Introcaso. And if you could throw us even $1 a month, it makes a huge, huge difference over here. If you've been listening to the show and getting enjoyment out of it, I hope it's worth at least $1 a month to you. So go check it out. There are rewards there, but the real reward is you help make this show that you are currently listening to possible. Patreon.com/Introcaso. And again, thank you to all of you who are already giving. And hey, maybe you can't support the show financially, or you already do and you want to help us out. Guess what? There's a way to do it totally for free. Just costs you maybe 30 seconds of your time. Head on over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. If you leave a 5-star review, I'll read it out loud. You can make me say anything you want. And if you're listening right now on Apple Podcasts, guess what? You can just, in your app right now, the one you're listening to, give us 5 stars. It's real super easy. It takes 2 clicks. So you are going to want to do that, please, 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 for me. So go ahead, leave us a review. You can make me say anything. All right, people, you can find me on Twitter at James Introcaso and at worldbuilderblog.com. Tabletop Babble is a show on the Don't Split the Podcast Network. Thanks to Rudy Basso for founding it with me. Our theme music, which you're listening to right now, was provided by Battle Bards. Don't forget, RPGs are like sex. Hey everybody, everybody. This episode of Tabletop Babble you just listened to was brought to you by Hero Forge. Hey, you know Hero Forge probably. They are the makers of amazing custom minis. You can build your hero, NPCs, all kinds of stuff. There are always new options becoming available all the time. Hero Forge offers a fully customizable experience with dozens of fantasy races to choose from. They have easy-to-use design tools that let you perfectly map out your miniature online, and it's super fun to do. You can go on and do this for free. See what it looks like before you buy. Plus, you can get your mini in a bunch of materials, including plastic and metal options. Hero Forge also offers downloadable model files so you can 3D print your unique design at home. Hero Forge is constantly expanding its customization options every single week. So you're going to want to go check it out. And guess what? Right now, Hero Forge has a great deal for our listeners. They're running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale from the 25th of November to the 2nd of December. You can get $5 off one physical miniature with the code RPG Holiday. It's all caps, no spaces, RPG Holiday. Go check it out. Hero Forge. Tell them DSPN sent you.